But I did want to get to Attorney Melvin Butch Hollowell, our general counsel here. Part of our Take Your Souls, S-O-L-E-S, to the polls, P-O-L-L-S, campaign is a four-step process, first being registration. We've just concluded in registering over several thousand registrations. We're still computing our final number. Thank you. We are excited about that, and thank you for... And thanks to all of you who've been out in the streets as well and knocking doors and walking streets and byways and highways to get those voter registrations turned in. I know it's made a difference. Our second phase, which is where we are now, and that's our educational piece. So we are in the process of doing radio, producing educational pamphlets and other sorts. So if you have distribution outlets, please check back with us in the next day or two. We'd be happy to disseminate some of those things to you that you can share with your constituents. The third piece is our mobilization efforts. So I was happy to hear about the gas payments to get individuals to the polls. And if you have any other things, we like to look at ourselves as kind of a coordinator for mobilization on actual election day. But also in addition to that is where we do phone banking, door-to-door knocking to help push individuals to the polls. And our last piece, which Attorney Hollowell is going to cover today, and that's our election protection operation, something that we are very serious about here at the Detroit NAACP. So if you'll bear with us through the presentation, I've done it no less than 10 to 20 times, and each time I learn something new. So if you're serious about being committed to this process, I guarantee you will find this a very fruitful time spent just going through this very well thought out presentation. I've gone to polling sites across the city, and individuals appreciate when you can bring knowledge to the process where there's oftentimes confusion within our polling sites. So stay tuned. Excellent presentation, and none other than the most qualified presenter of the subject matter, in my mind, an election protection expert, and that's Attorney Melvin Butch Hollowell. Let's welcome.
And so let's get right into it. I've got for you an ABC's of voting. Can you pass those that way? And so really what this is just, it's a thumbnail sketch. We'll be doing, tweak it a little bit more to make the text pop out, you know, but before I get into the specifics of that, I just wanted to say a couple of things that we hit the highlights in that. One, let me just point out the citizen. You remember we litigated the whole citizenship question about whether or not this clerk could ask you questions about your citizenship at the polls, and you cannot. And we wanted to make that clear that if that happens, you know, sometimes maybe an election worker won't get all of the information, so we wanted to make sure that you know they can't ask you for your citizenship when you get to the polls. That was decided in court by Judge Borman. He's you know, knocked down the Secretary of State in terms of her trying to be able to do that, which was illegal as all get out. And so we just give instructions to people to say, no, I do not have to answer that question. I'm aware of a federal court order. Please issue me my ballot. So that's how we instruct people to do it. And clearly we always say that you have the right to vote free of intimidation. You know, we have a history of that. You should be aware. We've got a team of lawyers, as we do, and I thank you for a lot of you who've called to volunteer for that. We will have lawyers deployed across the city at each of the 203 polling locations. And also the U.S. Attorney's Office, the chief of the Civil Rights Division, Judy Levy, called me. She had on the line Brian Feldman, who's actually from Southfield, but he works now with the U.S. Attorney General in Washington. And he's going to be sitting with us upstairs in the war room on Election Day. He asked whether or not we wanted to have a member of the Justice Department with us on Election Day. I said absolutely yes. And so in the event that we see anything that we think's out of order, we'll be ready to pounce. And we take these kinds of precautions because when you do, it makes it less likely that they try to play games. Also, I'm going to get into that in a second. One thing that's not in there. I prepared the day after tomorrow, we're going to have a voter. So that ABCs of voting that you have here is going to be on our website. So, at DetroitNAACP.org, you'll be able to click on that and get all that information right there. The other thing is we're producing for you a voter guide. And that says that, hey, Reverend, how you doing? It's the Detroit Branch NAACP supports your right to vote, earn, and learn in the Tuesday, November 6th general election. So the voter guide, we've done a nutshell, a kind of a Cliff's Notes version of this beastly ballot. This long old ballot. So what we've done is we've taken the whole ballot and we've looked at the confusing language on all that kind of stuff. And we've actually shortened it down into bite-sized pieces with good, concise explanations for each one. For each of the 6 statewide ballot proposals, for each of the 5 county proposals, for each of the 5 city proposals. There is a race, Vernon Allen's running for Wayne County Community College Board of Trustees, and then we've got a millage that we're supporting for Wayne County Community College, and the like. So we've broken all of that down and just really, we hope, very understandable language. That'll be on the website too, on our... and the third thing is we have engaged a firm to do a short video that says it all. So if you don't want to take the time to read it all, we've got a video that says it all. Real short, but it's got some sizzle to it, and that will be ready and on the website too. So you'll be able to go boom, 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 and have all the information right there online if you want it. In addition, we'll be mailing these out. We'll be handing these out. We've got 2 or 3 events a night between now and Election Day. I was at U of M in Ann Arbor last night. There's a bunch of events tonight and tomorrow night and the rest of the night. You know what I'm talking about, Marie. So we're covering the waterfront both on the physical end, at churches and community groups and community-based organizations, and also making it available right on the website, so it's very convenient for everybody, and in case there are issues with that. Now, somebody asked me a question last night at U of M, and they said, well, can you take anything into the polls with you? The answer is yes. Yeah. And that's our intention. So you'll be able to take the voter guide. You can actually fill it out and then just say, okay, I'm going to take it with me into the poll. So it'll shorten up. You won't have to remember, oh, yeah, that Linda Bernard, she was really impressive, whatever. So that's definitely what you should do. Or the better option, even than that, is the option that you and I were talking about. And that is the clerk, for the first time, has set up 3 different absentee locations for us to go and vote at, and that is really good stuff. I was talking to her about that the other day. Many other clerks kind of wish they had done that, but we do have that. So we have it in Detroit, at the right here on the Boulevard, also at Wayne County Community College Eastern Campus, which is 5901 Connor. You know where it is on Connor, right? And the other Wayne County Community College location on 8200 West Outer Drive. So that's the Northwest campus. So all you have to show is that either you're 60 years of age, you're unable to vote without assistance at the polls, or you're expecting to be out of town. Well, I'm expecting to be out of town. And so or if you're going to be working on Election Day, or there's a lot of reasons in there. that you can go ahead and vote early, and we are encouraging everybody to do that. Go vote early, because we're going to assume that you're all working with us on Election Day. So I think I promised the NAACP I was going to be working with them on Election Day. And so when you get over to one of those sites, I'm going to be working with the NAACP on Election Day. Okay, here's your absentee ballot, and you're done. I'm going to spend just about 5 more minutes on this real quick. When we pop through those screens. Now, here's our hotline, our 664-2424. That's the key number. We have the war room upstairs. Everybody knows what to do. We have intake forms. We get more calls than the clerk's office does. You should know that. And when people see the NAACP challengers, they love it, because it's official. We don't play. This is what we do. We cover all 203 polling locations, and we know what we're doing. And so when they see us, they see an ally. And sometimes you have somebody that might have a little, but 99% of the time say, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Did you know that they didn't give us enough ballots? Could you guys call the clerk's office and help us with that? Or, I'm so glad you're here. You know, we think one of the machines is kind of on the fritz. You know, can you see if the head of elections can come down and help us get that fixed? You see what I'm saying? They know we're going to be there to help, because we are. Okay. Polls have to be open at 7 and closed by 8. But that's another frequent thing. We get calls right away upstairs. Butch, Hampton School's not open. It's 7:02. You know, and they have instructions to be there at 5:45. But sometimes it doesn't happen. So we will get right on the horn. You call our number, we will get that poll open. I assure you, we will get that poll open. I already addressed that second issue. You know, that's the 100-foot rule. That basically, so if you're a challenger, you know, who knows how far 100 feet is? It's always a guess, and it's always a law of the polls. You know, it's kind of, you know, where is 100 feet exactly? Is it right at that fence where the school starts? You know, but generally they try to push the campaigning back. You know, as you walk in, you got to get the black slate, you got to get the 14th district slate, you got to get that. You know, this candidate, you know, whatever, you get the literature and all that stuff. They just want to make sure that you're not getting closer and closer right to the door, the entryway of the poll. And so a challenger can kind of watch that and make sure that the 100-foot rule is respected. Next one. This is what we talked about. Ask for assistance. Don't be afraid. Ask for assistance. It's under federal law and state law. Yes? Language assistance too. It's not, you know. So, for example, if you need help with a Spanish ballot or an Arabic ballot, we qualify in this area. There's certain things you have to do, certain percentages within a certain area in order to qualify under federal law. We do qualify, so just ask for that. We talked about this. They have to be accessible to people in wheelchairs, the elderly, anybody with a disability. If you're blind, normally nobody can go into the polling location with you that is an election inspector and see how you vote, except in certain instances. So, for example, if you are blind, you can have them come and they'll read to you, President of the United States, Barack Obama, or, you know, Willard Romney. Okay, and so then you tell them, all right, I want to vote for, you know, President Obama. So that's the exception. If you can't see and you need that assistance. The other exception is that you can always bring somebody young into the polling. Please do that. Somebody who's underage, and if you can just, you know, just expose them to it. Next one. BJ. Next one. I'm sorry. You gotta be, okay, so to be a challenger, we want you all to be challengers. We have the sign-up sheets. Let's go ahead and pass these around. You have to be, you have to be registered voter in the state of Michigan, and you can't be a candidate for office. You can't be running for office and be a challenger. And you can serve any place in the state, really. I did that speech at U of M last night. I had a bunch of fired up students, and so one of the students says, you know, I want to work with the NAACP. You know, I'm here at the School of Social Work at U of M, and I want to work with you guys. And I said, and so I said, but I live in Kalamazoo, live here in Ann Arbor. Is it okay that if I, volunteer with you guys? Of course, yeah. So that it doesn't matter. But please read it.